Welcome back. I am just going to quickly go through what I've got here, and then when I do my dotting, I'll explain further. This is the oval tray from Pouring Your Heart Out, eBay store. Crushed glass from Michaels. Octopus fluid resin ink Aronia. From Crystal Resin, the rich purple mica powder. Just Resin titanium white. And this little transparent sticker is the vintage piece from Amazon. I'm going to mix my resin and be right back. Okay, so I have mixed up my resin. I will walk you through what I'm doing, should you like to see it. And then I'll tell you about this process. So into this oval tray mold from Pouring Your Heart Out, into the crevice, I am pouring my Octopus Aronia resin ink that I mixed in with my resin. This technique, or this design, is by Petra, her video 412. Petra used a trinket tray, oval trinket tray from Molds and Shapes, but I wanted to try it on this tray of Miss Julie's. Now, this technique is sort of a crackle with the fairy flower technique that was designed and started off by resincourses.com. I don't know what effect I'm going to get, because I'm using a different mold than Petra. She also used blue color, which was just beautiful. And I've always wondered if the fairy technique, which is where you do a bunch of dots in your resin and to create a floral effect, whether it would work on a non-live edge mold, because every time we've done the fairy flower technique, it's on a live edge mold. So although it'll probably turn out like the fireworks, hopefully, at least something, but I wanted to do something different other than a fairy flower in a live edge mold. I wanted to use a different mold. And then also this white that I mixed in with my Aronia on Petra's. I think I've already screwed it up because this one is so opaque and so creamy, whereas Petra's was more sort of more purplish, you know, not so creamish purple. As you can see on the bottom of my mold, I already placed the transparent vintage sticker that I chose. I put it upside down. I cut around the design so that not so much of the purple is seen. So it's not very even there. So I did that. Believe it or not, I did this in yellow yesterday and it didn't turn out because I used Ultracast, and for some reason Ultracast doesn't work well for me on certain techniques. So I've switched to Art Pro on this one, which is a 3:1 ratio resin, and you get it from resinpro.com. Then in here I've mixed that mica powder I showed you in the beginning. And I'm going to pour this at the edge of my mold. So it's kind of like, you know, you would do in a crackle effect. So, and I've been into the crackle effect lately. This sure is a pretty purple. Now, as I'm using this mold for the first time with this technique, I did not know what to measure or how much resin to mix for each color. I've guessed it, and I'm hoping that I come close to something that'll turn out pretty. I'm just finishing up all my mica powder from my cup. I'm scraping. I want to get every last drop. Of this very pretty mica powder. Oops, spilt on the side there. I'll have to clean that up in a minute. Okay. And I always clean as I go along, like my sticks and tools and stuff. Just makes the cleanup at the end go a lot easier. Okay. So the next step that Petra did was she placed dots. So in my piping bag is the Just Resin Titanium White, and whoops, and now I'm just going to start dotting the edges, and when I come to a point where I can control this dots coming through, I'm going to pause the tape and then come back, and you can see how much dots I dotted. And on to the next step. So just let me get to a point where I feel comfortable that I can lift my head up to go hit the pause button on the camera. And basically I'm just going to dot all the way to the center. Okay, so I will see you shortly for the next step. Okay, so you can see that I have filled this up quite full of dots. The next step is I pour the rest of my clear resin in the center. And I'm letting it spread all the way to the edge of my mold. I mixed the right amount in total. I just hope I did the different ones. Now, Petra left this alone. I am actually going, well, she added some crystals, which I am going to add just a little bit here and here. I'm going to push it down just to give it an elongated. And as a preview, whether this turns out or not, I'm going to show it. I'm going to do a vertical version versus display of a horizontal. Now, Petra stopped here, but because I have some more resin in my bag, I am going to do the M's, which we call the M's if you took the resincourses.com dragon flower technique, you do these M's on the edge. I'm not sure if this will do anything because this is not quite your dragon or fairy flower technique, but since I had some resin left, oh my goodness, I hope I have all the way to go around. Shouldn't have put so many dots, silly girl. Oh boy. Just let me go to the, just let me get to my beginning, please, please, please. Oh, I don't think so. The dregs of it. Oh my goodness. And if I, oh, I have a little bit more in here of my cup. So kind of like in the bloom technique where you draw petals. Note to self, if this works out, don't put so many white dots. So let's see if I can just squeeze just a little bit more here. Oh, there's just a little amount here. Hopefully you're rooting for me on the other end, like go, go, go. Let some more come out. Boy, I'm really squeezing that. Okay, well, almost to the beginning. Okay, that's it. Then I am going to torch, and then I will, depending on how good or bad it turns out, I may or may not post it. So, I mean, because I do have failures, so we shall see. So I'm going to torch it. I think there's a little piece there that got out. The crystal, I'm going to guide it back into where the rest of it is. Kind of elongate it a little bit more. And let's hope, I'm going to hope for a good outcome. I will see you for the unmolding. Alrighty, I'm excited to see how this turns out in my purple. So let me open it up, and I might need to have to put it on the top to sort of, it's interesting, my resin is still a little bendy. Oh, interesting. Wow. So I got a kind of a crackle effect. But this is the direction, and so the flower dotting did not work for me in this case, but I got a different kind of effect and a little showcase of this. So I'm not too unhappy. So it ended up being a crackle side effect. Thank you so much for watching.